There. I don't want this thing to knock up against my necklace. But I can say there. Here we go. Indeed. And greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. I want to give you better lighting. It's not horrible, but it's not good. It's fine. It's fine. This is fine. I think it looks better on the actual live stream. Are you here loving me? Me being loved by you? That's nice. Is that you, Xiao? I have a sneaking suspicion that that is a show. It's nice to have you here. Sending you love. Trying to get this thing paused. There we go. Hey! Puff Daddy Juice. It's Diddy. It's just you. Are you the one loving me? Welcome, dude. I think the new name is better. The profile picture still leaves some things to be desired, but good. Sup to you, oh. Sup with you. I'm doing pretty good. I have been significantly more patient. And I've been thinking about my patience. I had a whole thing today again, learning about my tisms, recognizing the way my tisms has manifested throughout my life. How 90% of people in the tisms tend to have a very interesting relationship with sounds in their environment. And just thinking about all that you friends have seen. How's life on the farm? Today, a little bit warm. Yesterday it rained, so everything is nice and green, growing themselves extras. It is nice to be in such a lively space. Things are so green. I mean, you can see for yourself. There's some greenums. I really do enjoy it that way. Must be nice. That's why I'm sharing it. Oh, I'm sharing it because it's nice. I'm trying to be nice by sharing it. But bringing ourselves back to today's centering topic, patience. Patience. I'd like to believe, Puff Daddy Juice, that you too can find yourself in a green space with enough patience. It really is pretty there. I need to share some more with you, friends. It's very lush. So lushums, mountains in the background, hole in space. There's me. Is that KZN, KwaZulu Natal? No, this is Mpumalanga. It's a little bit more Limpopo. Like literally, if I could throw a rock hard enough, I'd be able to hit Mpumalanga from here. But I can't throw a rock hard enough, so I'm in Limpopo. Like that's basically it. Like we're literally on the line between Mpumalanga and Limpopo. Hallo ma. Welkom terug. Oh, nog een nieuwe rok. My mom is wearing one of my sister's dresses. It's nice. No, maar kan ik hem wees? Is dat nou? Very nice. Yeah. One of these days, society will come around. I'll get to wear dresses like that too. Caught mom off guard.
That's not society, that's the opposite.
Ik bedoel, I like nice. Hoekom nie? And I could look good in a dress too. Even me, I could.
You can look better in a suit too.
Part of me, unironically, would like to wear a quilt. Like really.
A quilt.
Yeah, like the Scottish.
Dis 'n kilt.
Kilt.
Is 'n ding op 'n
Oh, excuse me, not quilt, a kilt.
Ja.
There's a big difference.
UILT of 'n KILT.
Yes.
Groot verskil.
Sounds the exact same to me.
Nope.
A kilt. I'd wear a kilt. I do.
Dis basies 'n kombers.
I know. That's what I mean. I wear my kilt, I ride out into a forest, sleep under my pants or whatever.
Your kilt.
My kilt.
Your blanket.
Exactly. Mom is looking beautiful. Thank you, friend. It's true. Love is true.
Alweer my hare kommentaar gekry.
Het is mooi.
Is dit jou eie?
Het is heel rechtbare.
Is dit jou natuurlike kleur? Ja, grys uit my poppe.
Noza, Shantay's vriendin,
Nomsa
Nomza,
of Tani.
yeah, Tandy, she told me that the first time that she saw me with my long hair, and she remembers me being barefoot. However, I doubt it. I might have just been wearing my sandals, and with my long hair and dressed the way that I am. And she said, like, she was shocked that somebody in this area can look like that, because in her words, allemaal like hetzelfde. Everybody looks the same. Everybody, she cuts their hair short and wears work clothing, khakis.
You were born to fit in. You were born to stand out.
Yeah, exactly. Born to stand out. Yeah. Something, something, patience, something, something. Yeah, I don't know. Like, my mom is definitely one of the people in my life that taught me that there is pride to be taken in how you dress and how you are perceived. I could see Meld wearing both a kilt and a quilt. Exactly. Yes, kilt down there, quilt over top of me, or whatever. I totally could. 100% could rock it. I could rock it. Frickin' societal norms. TBH, if I could bring anything back, I would bring back robes. I don't think it's gonna be that comfortable to wear robes, but I would like to be adorned in wizard robes. Black, orange, and purple wizard robes. Right. Right. Part of me wants to see if this thing will be able to get what I'm talking about. I think I'm going to feed it something. One of my flowers. Because I've been having this idea a lot. I've been thinking about it a lot, I'll say. Part of me wants to decorate my wheel. How does that sound, Joe? You want to decorate my wheel with me? I'm going to make a bunch of orange stuff, and then I'm going to, with your help, I think, print it out. Orange and black. Give me orange and black. Oranje and zwart. Sure, that one is very yellow. You know, I think this is it. I'm gonna screenshot this one. This will be the piece I use as like a reference. Machine. Create an image. Create an image. Of a wizard's robe. Using the design. I'm getting distracted a little bit. I'm super down to help customize the UC with you. Yay. It's gonna be fun. You're gonna have to, I think you're gonna have to teach me, Joe. I think you're gonna have to teach me some photoshopping skills or something. I think we can pull the actual shell and like the dimensions into the software. You'll know. You'll know. You'll help me. I'm sure. I'm sure. Create an image of a wizard's robe using the design language and the colors orange, purple, black material. Let's see if it spits out something I can value. I'm super down to help customize the UC with you. Yeah, I have a bunch of ideas. It's already technically black and orange themed. Like there's already accents of black and orange on it as it is out of the box. And then I imagine taking that orange scarf of mine, putting it on something black, and then messing with the pixels, creating a bunch of different stuff. Of course, creating some circular stuff, creating some long way stuff, and then putting the circular stuff on the circles and the long way stuff on the long ways. Totally. You'll have to, and I'm sure it's going to be fun to help me. Now I just have to be patient. That is today's stream topic after all. It should arrive today. Should be on its way. Oh, see you sent me a video. Didn't wake up for the yoga. It's okay. It's okay. It was a nice yoga practice, but it didn't feel wasn't very verbal. It was just kind of like echoing the sentiment of being patient. Being patient with ourselves, being patient with our loved ones. Talking about, I've been patient, but they're not going to stop talking, so I'm going to just close the doors and stuff. Because the doors were opened after they were closed. I think that should be a little bit more noise controlled. So I can hear myself think. All right. I don't know about you friends, but if I'm in earshot of a conversation just enough to hear it, but not enough to actually make out everything that's said, it's very distracting to my brain. I end up trying to fill in the blanks and then I'm not as present as I could be. Arrives today. It is out. Sure, they're gonna be there any second now. This thing has taken an eternity. It's still generating that image that I asked for. Who knows how long ago. Patience. Patience seems to be the theme. Patience seems to be the theme. And the sentiment of today's stream is the fact that I do believe I have grown more patient in my life. I have not changed ultimately, right? In the ways in which I can be irritated, in the ways in which I can find myself skizzing, wanting for something to be differently in some ways, right? I'll still experience extreme cringe. Sometimes even outright rage when I'm hearing loud sounds, crunching and scratching against something. Is that Dan mad? Hey Dan, it's nice having you here. But at the same time, right, despite the fact that I still die a little bit inside, I am capable of not saying anything, to remain in my patience instead. I was in the kitchen when you said it, but I wanted to say robes are 90% of my wardrobe. That is sick. And this thing finished. I mean, it did surprisingly well. I don't know where, it feels a little bit basic. Feels a little bit basic, but look at that. I could see myself wearing something like that. Very basic. Feels like the thing I'd send to a company to be like, hey, can you make this? Is this something you could make? And of course, the designs are very low resolution. But it did unironically try to use my designs. I do like the way that looks. I'd wear that. I feel like in my mind it had more like layers where it would have been designed, but it also would have been like thick colors. kind of thing as well. Christmas, I have a lot of time off. Nice. That's nice to hear. We're going to see some more of you, I'm sure. Sorry I missed you all. Hope you had a lovely holiday. I was busy working, but such is life. Well, here you are again, bro. Welcomed as always. I have a lot of time off, bless. MeltMore capable. Oh, yeah. Best believe hoopty hoops. Capable is all we are. Capable of patience, too. Capable of kindness. Capable of peace. If you're lucky, if you're very lucky, you'll get this too. Joe saying hi to Hoops. Hoops saying hi to Dan and Joe. Sam saying busy working to afford all the Sam art you're planning on buying, Dan. I think he's done working right now, it seems, right? Since it's holidays. Perhaps Sam. Love is true. Saying hello. Thank you for saying hello, Hoopty Hoops. Yeah, patience. Have I grown more patient? Yesterday we had a few conversations about the way I have changed my hope, my ambition, if you will, for seeing people do what's good for them, you know? Because I think there's a matter of, I don't know if it's selfishness, could be seen as a selfishness, right? Where I believe that if everybody did really care about themselves, that maybe it would mean somehow caring about what it is I'm doing as well. Maybe I can share it from the perspective of this journey, right? Like I started doing this at the start of 2021. In that first year that we showed up, I did set out with the intention to not make finances as an attachment, right? I almost told myself that if I want to do something for the sake of actually doing it, I need to be able to do it without expecting anything in return. I'll have to be patient with my creative process so that I can see it through, right? Be patient with my financial expectations so that I can almost like get the momentum that I'll need in order to continue. And the first year of being patient, not accepting or expecting anything in return for the effort that was applied, it wasn't hard in so many words. It wasn't hard for me to be patient in that way. And then some of you friends did reach out to me, letting me know that you would like to actually financially support the work that I'm doing. And that's how the Patreon got spawned, right? I couldn't, of course, just take your money for the sake of it. At least that's not the way that I operate. Sure, I'm doing these live streams, but in my mind, that's not enough. So I created the works of art, right? Something for you to look at, something pretty that could add, if not a lot, an instance of value to your life. And it was during that time of my life that things were most successful, right? I think at that point, the highest we ever reached was like around close to $500 a month, which is almost a living wage here in South Africa. And I patiently continued creating, right? Patiently kept showing up for that fractal. And unfortunately, we have lost, what's it, 80% of that support. And it's been hard, all right? From a creative perspective, from a soul's perspective, to understand that it will take a lot of patience from your part as an artist in order to create something that people will value, right? To be patient with when it is you'll be set free, patient with when you'll be able to afford things. And in that patience, right, as that time continued, it's almost like it became clear to me that that's also just another thing, right? At this point in my life, I I don't care as much anymore. Right? And I'm saying that from the perspective of it still matters to me that you friends would want to support me. But back in the day, when we reached, a livable wage, and then 20% of it went away, and then 40% of it went away, and then 60% of it went away. That those first 20, 40, 60% of it disappearing was devastating, like literally soul wrenching, like kept me up at night, making me question my life, my choices, my decision to walk this path. And I don't know if it was an element of patience that I was lacking in that experience. And now at this point, right, I'm earning the least I have now, right? Like as inflation inflations and as cost of livings, I have lost about 50 or 60% of my income since I started doing this work, which is very concerning, right? I am a pattern recognizer after all, and I extrapolate things into the future. And it became clear to me that I will have to be very patient, so very patient. I believe that it's going to take decades before before things catch up. Literal decades. And I think I'm finally ready, right? I'm finally, in my own mind, at the very least, mature enough to take my time. I'll do my yoga practices and teachings every day. I'll do these live streams to open a little window of conversation to you friends into my life. I'll do my art, trying to encapsulate an idea into a poem, give you something pretty to look at. And next year, I'll work as well. Had a conversation with grandma just as we were starting the stream, where she was surprised. She's like, "What? You do live streams on Saturdays too?" I'm like, "Yeah, I haven't missed a single day, grandma, in 1,794 days. I've been doing it every day for in 30 days, 5 years consecutively, not missing a moment, all right? Showing up every single day with that intention. I have grown infinitely patient, dangerously patient. I'll outwait everyone. I can be chillaxed though. All I have to do is take a little bit of care. A little bit of care every day. Create this digital remembrance of myself. Create things that I value, right? Beauty. And take care of my body. I'm on a second day of a fast right now, so I am being patient with myself, patient with my hunger cues, patient with my energy levels, patient with my body image and expectations thereof. Calming myself down just a little bit. I am still relentless, but I'm patiently relentless. Very patient in my relentlessness. I'm going to work next year, and then save as much as I can, as much as humanly possible. I'm going to keep saving money, and then I'm going to uh, buy myself a bunch of robots, and then I'm going to put them to work. Put them robots to work and start fixing shit. Make it like bubbles. Yeah, everybody will have their own little robot bubbles, and then those bubbles will suds up the entire earth, wash us clean of our inefficiencies. Mm. Good morning, assholes. And good afternoon to Mr. I haven't thought how I plan to wear a robe on my EUC. You can wear a robe on your EUC. I've seen people wear robes on EUCs, in fact. It's pretty cool. Champ Cotton, what am I listening to? Today, we're having a conversation about patience, Champ. About patience. About how patience is something that is learned. It's not something you can be taught. If I had to tell myself, starting this journey, all right, that I would be, if it was like purely, and I think Dan might have said something like that, if it was purely a financial thing, right? If I had shown up at the start of this with the idea that I'll be able to afford living, you know, and then I told myself, hey, bro, you're going to do this thing that you're setting out to do for the next 5 years every single day, and you will not be able to afford to eat food for the whole month at the least. All right, you can eat food for the first half of the month, maybe. Technically, no. Technically, I can't. Like, if I had to like pay for my own cost of living completely, all right, I would not even be able to afford 70% of average rent right now. You know, so I would literally just like die of hunger if I had no help. If I had to tell myself that, holy shit, I think I would have been not happy to hear it, right? But now finding myself as the version of me that have been patient, all right? I would tell my old self what the situation is, and he would be highly, highly, what's the word I'm looking for? Disillusioned, maybe? Appalled. You sound South African. Ek is. Ek is Zuid-Afrikaner. I know it's off topic. It's okay. I am a South African. Yeah. And I am grateful. I think that's kind of the point I'm trying to make. Is I'm grateful for the level of patience that I've gained, for the way that I interpret my own experience, because I'm aware of the fact that if I only earned as much as I'm earning right now, I won't be able to, you know, afford nice things. I won't be able to buy myself a car. I won't be able to afford insurance. Therefore, I won't be able to, you know, like pay for a place. And I think it's like one of those things where me having found patience and being in that way is also what has pushed me towards that not being the case, if that makes sense. Right? That ideally in the future, I'll actually be earning an income of my own. I'll be able to, like I have, help my friends. Right? Like it's been the first time I ever earned money, I spent 20% of it on a painting of a friend. And like I feel like that is what money is for. You know, like if you can earn a decent income and you can share that with people that you value the work of, right? Especially those that aren't traditionally employed. I think that's something that we don't realize, you know. It's like we have so much entertainment these days that we forget that it used to be a community-based thing. The Da Vinci's and Michelangelos, you know, that we so admire, could only be what they were because they had the financial support to do so, right? They had these uber wealthy families that literally paid them salaries just to be artists, right? Spend your life arting. This is your purpose. here you can have place to stay, food to eat, right? Resources to build with. And it's a shame, right, that that part has been stolen from us as well. So much more easy to justify paying X amount of dollars for a subscription to HBO or Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever, right? Get your little sliver of entertainment. But those entertainment platforms work on economies of scale, right? They work on the principle that there are going to be hundreds of millions, if not billions, of people paying for that service in order to justify the content that they create, leaving, unfortunately, those at the bottom of the rung impoverished. And it's every single one of us, right? It's like we are collectively as a species voting for that kind of setup. We're voting for a very certain type of catered media. I think there's a lot of more indie stuff coming out, but as soon as something good that's indie comes out, like I'm thinking about Has Been Hotel, for example, right? Has Been Hotel, I believe, was released on Netflix. No, released on YouTube. And then it got bought by HBO, and now it's an HBO show, right? Now you have to, again, pay in order to view it. It got good numbers, right? The creator, the actual creator, ended up being very successful because of it. The YouTube almost first and foremost, and then the HBO kind of like came afterwards. But it's like the scale, right? The scale at which you have to create in order to make a living seems a little bit disproportionate, right? It's like you can either make a living in a large way or not at all. The freaking all or nothing stakes of our reality seems to be very dizzying. I'm ready to hear MeltMore's version of what he thinks success is. Jeebies. It's a loaded question, bro. What do I think success is? Well, I can tell you that I would like to be successful. I'll tell you that much. All right? And in that way, it's almost like I am saying I'm not successful right now. However, if I have to sit myself down and try and dictate to myself what success looks like, I feel freedom is one of the things that comes up, right? I would consider myself successful if I have the freedom to, purchase gifts. And I did, and I'm happy that I could have, all right? Because of the finances earned by YouTube and by my yoga, I did at least have the finances to buy each of my family members a gift. I did spend everything I had, right? But at the same time, at least I had something to spend. And it feels like that's an act of success in my mind, right? I am successful not because I have money, but because I'm willing to spend it on someone other than myself. And I feel like that's almost where I get stuck, right? Like at this point of my earning journey, I earn so little that spending anything on someone else leaves me with not much at all. And I think that's kind of like where I would like to escape. So I would like to stop being in that state of having to pinch pennies, to say it in such words, right? I would like to have the freedom to buy my family even better gifts, right? I still had to budget. I did spend everything I had. I I have like $4.50 left. $4.50 is $4.50. Can buy some chocolates with that or something for the rest of the family. I had to take something out of the cart. I wanted to buy a box of like candy bars as well, and then write little messages on them, but it was $6, so I had to take that off. Success, bro. Yeah. I successfully purchased gifts from the family, which I'm happy about. I hear those financial pressures, but hear another perspective. I've grinded the corporate structure for 9 years, and in that time, I've tripled my income. But that same inflation has kept me in the same just all right apartment despite those gains. So not chasing the money. So no, chasing the money isn't necessarily even worth it. I'm agreeing with you on that. I'm completely agreeing with you on that, Dan. I'm not saying that I'm gonna start being more money chasing. All right, I'm going to start working a job because like it is unfortunately not sustainable. Right? If I kept just doing this, I'll literally be left with nothing at the end of my life. Right? Give my literal life for nothing, which is like I can't do that to myself, right? My future self won't appreciate that. I can see my future self being very like jaded and negative and in hate of, right, the injustice, if you will. So I'd rather not suffer that future, right? And again, I'm going to have to apply the patience that I've learned. I'm going to have to apply the patience of being in a place that I don't want to be, working potentially with people that I don't want to work with, doing things potentially that I don't want to do. And that patience is something that I guess you grow as you get older. Guess there's just like a willingness for me to look at my suffering and wanting for things to be differently. Meltmore's voices his intention for conscious evolution, always. All right, today's is learning patience, watching how, as we experience, we grow more patient too. Champ saying, hello, it's my first time here, and can I ask what type of live content do you produce? You've been here for it. We do stuff like this generally. I try to show up from a place of peace, right? Even though the subject matter might sometimes be confusing, concerning, uh, leaves a lot to be thought about. I'll try and add as much peace to your day as I can in this live stream. As Hoopy said, we show up in this space with the intention to consciously evolve, acknowledging that most of the evolution that has happened to us has happened already, and that all of the evolution that will happen to us going forward will be conscious. I have become more conscious of my ability to be patient. And as a result, I'd like to believe at the very least, I am more evolved. The patient melt that I've become is more tolerable is the word that I want to use, but that sounds harsh. More uh, more socialized. There we go. Yeah. Happy fasting, friends. See you later. Thank you, Hoopties. See you later, bro. Isn't necessarily worth it. Then, can you work completely remote? Come to KC. Lower cost of living. I can't. Yeah, unfortunately. Golden handcuffs. What am I listening to? I work as a contractor for the city of New York, so I have to be at least near the city. And right now, I'm full time on site. Yep. That does make a difference. That does make a difference. Hmm. The robots are coming though, Dan. You'll be able to remote in to a robot body eventually. Cost of living crisis. It's not something you can just patience yourself out of, unfortunately. Well, at the same time, I have seen different ways of living. Not too long ago, I was exposed to a community of hippies. who spend their time very patiently, to say it in so many words. Right? In the conversations that I had, there was one lady, Yellowfoot, where she was letting me know, how things have been financially, if you will. How hard it is to keep any money in the bank account. And she was 64, 65 years old. And I could see, right, myself continuing to create for and from a place of spirituality, being in that exact same state when I'm her age, right? Spend the next 40 years of my life and then still have nothing in the bank account to show for it. And it didn't scare me in so many words, right? I guess it was mildly concerning, but I wasn't fearful of that life or that potential, because watching those people live, those people, watching them live, didn't didn't seem like money could fix the problem, if you will. Right? There was no problem to be fixed. There was communal eating, so they would, because of the community size, some people did have money, and they would contribute resources in order for food to be cooked. And she added her hand in actually cooking, right? Adding that energy. Everybody was fed. The way that they walk upon the land had no needs attached to it. And it did give me some patience, right? I don't think I will ever be in that situation, right? Completely in my 60s, still with nothing to show for it. Because I do have ambitions beyond just this space. But I have learned patience. Patience in my approach and how it is I am participating and how it is I am perceived. I think that's a big one as well. I think if I had no one perceiving me, I wouldn't care about having finances either. Thinking about it from the perspective of like my family, there was no expectation for me to buy anybody Christmas gifts, technically speaking, right? But I want to be perceived egoically, selfishly, as someone generous, as someone who took the time to think about them, took the time to work, if you will, took that money earned from that time spent to give it to them, right? And I do hope they value what they get. I'm sure they will. I got everyone something that I think, if at least for the moment, will be appreciated. Being able to be patient of how I'm perceived. I think that's a big thing as well. Because if I give myself enough time, I'm sure I'll be able to do all of the things that I hope to. I'll garner the success I'm looking for. I'll gain the freedom that it will take for me to feel like I am actually free. But it will take time. And the only thing I can be right now is patient with myself and with how it is things are actually. Very much from the perspective of realizing there's nothing that I can do. Right? It's like growing a plant. After you put the seed in the ground, the only thing that there is for you to be is patient. I have been planting seeds. I'll keep planting seeds every single day. And if I spend my entire life and nothing grows, then those seeds are still dormant in the ground. Maybe it will take 100 years, 1,000 years, 10,000 years before anything comes off all of the effort that I'm putting in. Maybe I'll never get to see the fruits of my labor. Can I be patient enough in my life to still do what I'm supposed to do despite? Right? If there was 1,000 years from now version of myself that tells me, right, I did not end up being successful the way this version of me wanted to be, will this version of me be discouraged enough to stop showing up? I'd like to believe no. No, in fact, this version of me would like to prove myself wrong. Oh yeah, myself? I'll prove you wrong, me. Well, that's a good guess. Even people who listen in the country ask him where his accent's from. It's true. Mensen vra my, waar ek vandaan is. Where are you from? Probably gonna only get more of that now. Now at least, when I get asked, I can tell them I live in America. Soon. Very soon. Master mold, master mold MeltMore eliminates microbiomes with excessive soaping. I do wash myself every day, but I don't think I mess with my microbiome. I don't use those gels, those laundry detergent equivalents. I use a bar of beef tallow soap. All right. So I hope at the very least that it's not stripping my microbiome too much. We're starting a journey. What's in a large way? You tell me, bro. Mammoth-shaped rocks, I would say. Spend your time on people every day, man. That's success. There we go. Exactly, bro. Exactly. You want what you don't have. You don't have easy access to money, so that feels like success. It's not the easy access to money, right? I don't think it's that. I think it's, again, what that allows you. For instance, right, if we have to like pull one-to-ones, I was supposed to. My proficiency tests pointed me in the direction of chemical engineering. All right. When I applied, I did apply for business school, and I did get in for that at least. However, my proficiency test said I was supposed to be an engineer. The same thing with my siblings, all of them. All right. Rudo did go down that path. And because Rudo went down that path, he is garnering a certain level of success. And that success in this moment, as it relates to finances, allows him to do certain things, right? To have the freedoms to do certain things. Now, with that in mind, if we have to compare, and it's not good to compare, comparison is the thief of joy after all, but if we have to compare, right, how I would feel successfully or not successfully, if he invites me out to go to the beach with him, right, and his family, it's like, come on, Melt, let's do a little family get together. You bring your beloved, I'll bring my beloved. Let's go to the ocean together, right? And I don't have the financial means to do so. I'll feel less successful, right? Because I have now managed to get myself in a point at which spending time with people, as you said, hoopty hoops. Nope, that was Dan. As you said, Dan, where spending time with people that I love, spending time with my sibling, is not something that I can do, right? And in that way, I'm falling short. I'm failing. I'm not being successful in the way that I want to be. And like that has already been the case in some ways, right? I had a whole moment, I think it was yesterday, thinking about how many things, how many experiences, how many opportunities I've missed because I couldn't afford to be there. All right? Couldn't afford to spend the money on fuel, couldn't afford to spend the money on the tickets, couldn't afford to spend the money on accommodation where it is I'm staying. So I just don't. I don't go places. I don't buy tickets. I don't book accommodations. And again, I think that's where today's almost like lesson is coming in for me, where despite that, I still find myself patient because I don't think I'm living a bad life. I don't think I'm living a, by my own definition, an unsuccessful life. But it is the matter of perception, right? What am I perceiving? And how am I being perceived? If I'm not perceiving, what am I missing? And if gaining experience in this life, it can also be seen as a type of success, how can I ensure that I am? With patience, I guess. Is Nancy here? Hey, Nancy. It's nice having you here too, friend. Sending you big blessings. Mm. Patience is a weird one. Thinking how I have come across it, it is a respectful trait. I think you're right in that. You want what you don't have. There we go. Yeah. Patience is quiet when everything else is loud. Calculating when everything else blindly reacts. And tempted when chaos seems to demand otherwise. Tempered. Tempered when chaos seems to demand otherwise. Is he telling us about how he's going to make robots or about how money isn't what he's looking after? Again, right? It's like if I had the ideal of having a lot of money in the bank account, I don't see how that would help anybody, right? Oh, yes, I have $1 million. Got 1 million. Like to me, having $1 million, I guess it would be great, right? But I would instantly, and I guess maybe that's the problem, I would instantly think about how I can apply that wealth, right? And in my mind, looking at the future, I am going to apply that wealth by purchasing robots, right? And then putting those robots where they're needed, in so many words. Ideally, I'll have enough robots at some point where I can actually fix things. And double ideally, the robots will be sophisticated enough in order to actually do so. And then at that point, I imagine that I'll be completely cyborg already, right? So my brain will be connected to the network. I'll have chips in my brain, and I'll be able to see through the eyes of these robots, and I'll be able to stand in and delegate and make decisions and be asked and actually add some direction, right? And then I imagine, instead of like waiting for things to get better, I imagine myself making them better. And I don't think, and maybe this is my own hubris, I don't think it will take that much money to actually make the world a better place. And ideally, we can make it a competition. I'll make the world a better place. More than you, asshole. Oh yeah? I'll feed people harder than you do. Oh yeah? Well, if you're feeding people, I'll freaking get them clean drinking water. How about that? Get wrecked. Oh yeah? I'll give them medical services. Oh yeah? You'll give them medical services? I'll give them free internet. Get wrecked 'em. Oh yeah, free internet? I'll give them. How long? How long? How patient do I have to be for us to get to that reality? Where instead of competing for having more monies, we can compete on who has the most positive impact. What is that going to look like? How am I going to apply myself to this life? Do I need to be more patient? Am I not patient enough yet? That's what I wonder. Of course, man, the money is just paper, but it comes at a cost. I have money and all the shit that comes with it, but I've had to sacrifice so much time. See, Darren is here too. It's true, Dan. The thing with time is, right, and it does have something to do with patience. The thing with time is that it passes anyway, right? Time passes anyway. There's nothing you can do about that. All you can do is something with your time. And if some things you did with your time earned you a high income, and as you said, all of the things that come with it, then you didn't lose, you didn't waste, you didn't walk away with a loss, right? At least in my mind. Because again, time is something that's relative. Had a conversation with my dad last Saturday about that. How, because of the way that I've chosen to apply myself, I will never have a vacation again in my life. Right? In the way that people think of vacations, where they get to just switch off, put the devices away, have nowhere to go, have no one looking for you, asking for your attention. Just get to kick your feet up and drink margaritas or whatever next to the beach for the whole day. Like, that will never be something I allow myself. And as a result, the only rest that I can gain is from my in-between moments. Right? Like the second I get where I am at peace with where it is I am is where I'm almost like finding my rest. I don't have to have a vacation because I feel like I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't need a reprieve. Curious to have this conversation again when I'm in my 30s. 5 years from now, I'm going to be 32. Almost 33. I look forward to it. I do. How much more patient will I become? Melt, you don't have the financial means to hypothetical, but you are hypotheticaling right now. Yes. That's the point we're trying to make, right? It's like in this conversation, why is it that that seems to be something I have to grow patient with, right? And I'm almost like at the same time being a little bit in awe of the fact that I have been, that I've grown more patient despite things being worse when it comes to relative metrics, right? So if patience was a direct line, right? Like I'm patient, and then I patient, and then life quality improve alongside patienting, right? But it's not like that. It seems to be patient as a line, and then life quality, or and I wonder about that, dude. I wonder about how the future me will see this moment, right? And maybe that's what I'm intimidated by. Will I look back at this moment wishing I was back here? Or will I be looking back at this moment wishing that I was somewhere else and that I did something else? And how much of that feeling, decision, experience is determined by my patience. If 5 more years pass, will I have grown more patient in things not working the way I want them to? Or will I have lost patience in things not working the way I have? And then, if things work the way I would like them to, what will I do? What's going to be the new thing that asks for my patience? Still, the speed at which things change, I feel. That's a good one, Sam. Did I miss something Sam said? Oh, yeah, tempered when chaos seems to demand otherwise. Love to Nancy. Hello, streamers. Hey, Nancy. It's nice having you here too. It's a feeling. It's not the success of not being there. I feel you. Being kind to strangers, or anyone for that matter, makes the world a better place. That I believe too. And I think patience has something to do with it, right? If you're having a really bad day and somebody says something that might add to your bad day, having it miss, some patience can go a long way. And you actually being nice to them, kind to them, making the world a better place despite having your own problems. I think people need to understand that there's enough resources for everyone for us to get there, Melt. Yeah, I believe that, Dan. I really do. I really do believe that, without a shadow of a doubt. I think the part that I'm really entertaining in my mind today is how patient will I have to be in order to get there? How patient will we have to be in order to get to that point where everybody is okay? Everyone has the resources to get there. Good morning, Jaju. It's nice having you here with us too. I'm certain that there are points from this time which you will cherish. I think so too, Darren. I think so too. And I've been making a point of taking those moments for myself. You know, and those moments don't cost me anything. I think that's the part of it that I'm really flabbergasted by, right? The moments that I really cherish about this time of my life and the space in which I'm in is the ability, the freedom to just be with the environment, to be with the trees, to be with the rocks, to really consider the magnitude and awe of my life in its insignificance, almost sometimes, to the extremity of our world, right? Ancient rocks, trees that are decades old, an environment we're standing on that is in the order of hundreds of millions, if not billions of years, right? Billions of years of stuff you're standing on. And for me, I find myself the most fulfilled and aware of how awesome being alive is when I'm in those moments. And I'm trying to take as many of those moments as I can, right? Make those moments. And I know, and me and Joe have talked about this extensively, that that same interaction with the world isn't going to go away when I go to the States. And quite the contrary. In fact, I'll have reverence and deep respect for a whole other fractal of the environment. There's so much beautiful stuff, like little caves and stuff, massive rocks, bunch of trees, in Joe's area of the world as well. And I look forward to, in the same way, cherishing that environment, cherishing that world, gaining that success, right? But that's the problem. I think that's the juxtaposition that I find myself staring at, is that I'm not being paid. Nobody is going to pay me to really deeply appreciate how beautiful a tree is. Nobody is going to pay me how ancient a rock feels. Nobody is going to pay me for spending time with the lizards and enjoying that, right? And as a result, I find myself stuck as a human, right? It's like it's clear to me what is actually valuable to the soul, to the spirit. And at the same time, it's clear to me what is valuable to the world and people. And I am actively trying to remain patient. Patient in my expression, patient in my expectations, very patient in my expectations. I think I hear a vehicle approaching. Yep. Oh, my sister is back. Should look at that. Unexpected. Okay, Sam says, but how will the top 1% be able to afford their nuclear powered giant death robots if they're paying for all the poorest to live then? Nuclear powered giant death robots. Sounds cool. The death part sounds not cool. But the nuclear powered and giant and robots, all of those things sound cool to me. We are pushing hard little modular reactors right now, so we probably will perfect the tech to put mini nuke reactors inside a robot body. It's gonna take some time though. Well, yeah, that's it, Sam. Agreed. Yep. Pouts. No one ever pays me in experience. It's not about that, Sam. It's like understanding. It's understanding that this thing, experience, this depth that I value, right? This one thing that I value I'm the only one that values. That's the part that I'm like jarred by, Sam. That's the part I'm jarred by. Is that it seems very ill-fitting, right? Incompatible. Incompatible with this world that we're in. I've taken a few days off of eating again. Last time I ate something was Thursday night. And I feel like every time I do put myself into these fasting states, it puts me in this contemplative state of mind. It makes me very serious. It makes me problem solve. Guess it would make sense that our body would almost upregulate those channels. You guys heard of Arc Raiders? I have heard of it. It's like a live social experiment in greed in a video game. I've seen some good stuff. People helping each other in the game and stuff. It's been wholesome, seeing the wholesome moments, but there are still assholes. It's not even greed sometimes, right? It's an experiment on just sadism, I guess, as well. Oh no, is the ice coming through? Oh wait, no, never mind. Internal combustion engine? I did. What exactly you like so much if it's not in this world? What exactly you like so much if it's not in this world? If you want an answer to a question, I would like to understand what exactly you like so much if not in this world. Something to like that's not in this world? Is that what you're asking? It's like, yeah, of course, Mel, you like being in the world. What's there to like outside of it? Is that what you're asking? Again, again, uh, experience. I don't know if experience, as it is experienced by the experiencer, exists in the world, right? Because there is an experience to have in looking at a rock, you know? But the experience that's had is different from person to person. And where that experience goes seems to be ethereal, right? Out of this world in that way. It exists in another dimension. And it's almost like in that dimension, I don't want the experience to be one of worry or the experience to be one of shame or disappointment in me and my abilities and what I could have been, etc., kind of stuff. So yeah, it's like the ethereal, bro, the conceptual. I'm scared of concepts sometimes, a little bit. Dan, I haven't heard of that game. I've seen only a little bit. I don't think I know anything about it other than that it's an open world game and there are resources to be gathered and you can technically share and give to other people. You can kill them and take their stuff too. So that's where the experiment comes in. It's an extraction shooter, Nancy. You get in, get your loot, and get out. But there's AI robots trying to kill you, and other people can kill you as well. There we go. MeltMore. Your streams are an example of sadism to me. I think where the experience goes is not ethereal. I think it goes with the person. Hey Google, define ethereal. Ethereal means extremely delicate and light in a way that seems too perfect for this world, or relating to regions beyond the earth. Yeah, yeah. Right, like there's no substrate as it exists right now that can capture your experience of something perfectly. Right? I can take a photo of your face as you're smiling, but I cannot take a photo of how it is you're feeling when you smile. What feeling is required in order for you to smile? Right? And in that way, I feel that those feelings are a little bit ethereal, light, airy fairy, up in the sky, somewhere else, beyond the earth. But I do like the fractal of it goes with you. That I agree as well. And I do see what you mean in considering what I'm doing as a kind of sadism. My streams are an example of sadism. I don't do this from a place of pain. It doesn't hurt me, right? I really enjoy doing this. And I've said this before. I'll continue doing this even if I have to do it alone. Even if I don't make $1 doing it. Even if nobody remembers me afterwards. Because the plans I have, right, include this space. I am going to create a digital remembrance. In other words, when the future comes, right, the future as I imagine it, and we do start manipulating ourselves to integrate more into the lives we want to live, right, to become more successful, I will augment my brain. I'll put chips in my brain, right? I'll be able to see without having my eyes open. I will be able to move technology without my hands. I will be able to communicate without using my words. It's not that far away. No more than 10 years, I imagine, right? So when that future comes, this this will be digital remembrance. I will train a AI. I'll train my own localized AI. It will run in my basement on all of this data. And it will remember in a way that I cannot even hope to. I cannot even try to hope to remember everything that I've been through, everything that I've told you, friends, everything that has, wise or not, come out of my mouth. in this space. And then as soon as I do integrate myself in that way, and as soon as I create a digital clone, a remembrance of myself, and as soon as those two versions of me integrate, right, I will become something else. And there is a certain version of me that sees that as the success, since we asked that question earlier, sees that as the success I'm supposed to achieve. And in that way, the only way for me to be successful is to continue participating, to continue showing up for love day after day, to continue creating something instead of accepting nothing as the result of my life. Right? And it's this fight against meaninglessness, you know? It really is this fight against meaninglessness. And I do extract a lot of meaning. And I think I will continue to indefinitely extract a lot of meaning from this space. You friends, you friends have added so much meaning to my life. I just wish I was better at remembering all of it. Please do a Kat Kalia interview stream. I don't know who that is, but I appreciate you giving suggestions. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Does the game continue once you get your loot and get out? I was curious about that as well. Yes, you can drop in and out of several maps, however many times you want, but there's a risk involved. If you fail to extract, you lose everything you brought with you and everything you found. So you can gather stuff and then have it like outside of the map, like as attached to your character. And then before you go to a new map, you can like put all of the stuff that you want to have with you, right? So maybe I found a nice gun, but there's only so many of those nice guns. And then I go into the world and I would like to have my nice gun, but also I could potentially lose my nice gun, all right? And then I know tomorrow I'm gonna play with my friends and I would like to have a nice gun for when I'm playing with them. So I leave my gun and I go into the map and maybe I find another gun and then I maybe die. Is it then better technically to just jump in naked every time? Get yourself stuff when you land? You tell me, bro. Does sound fun, I won't lie. Dan says, okay, I think another one. Dan says, more, Melt, you'll like this. The robots hunting you in the game are powered by machine learning. So the more we kill them, the smarter they get. It's literal Terminator. That is a little bit scary. Technically, if they were really AI, at least like neural trained AI. In other words, you give them the instructions, you give them the controls. They should be smoking, every single one of you, like easy style, like absolutely dogging on you. Yeah, I don't know how much of that is marketing, the whole it's powered by machine learning, because it's like, again, like AlphaGo, you know, I did the Star Trek, hit Alpha Star. Hey Google, did Alpha Star actually win against the Star Trek players eventually? It's not Star Trek. It's not Star Trek. Mm, StarCraft. There we go. Yes, DeepMind's Alpha Star AI decisively beat the professional StarCraft players, 10-1. A later, more restricted version of AlphaStar also reached Grandmaster League status on the official BattleNet leaderboard, placing it above 99.8% of humans. Yeah, the AIs will slap our ass in anything that we can do, unfortunately, eventually. There's like a few outliers of things that it can't do, but we're birthing like a whole species of things onto our planet with the AI we're creating right now. There is only disagreement right now amongst the professionals, amongst the smart people, right? Amongst the ones that know what's going on about when super intelligent AGI level machines come, not if. No one is if ifs or orsing about it. There's maybe like a few outliers, but the majority of people are like, yeah, I think it's gonna be 5 years, and the other person is like, nah, it's gonna be like 10 years. And then the person that's really conservative is like, oh, I think it's gonna be like 20 years. None of them says it's 100 years away, right? In 20 years, I'm gonna be 47, right? 47 is still young, relatively speaking. For there to be a super intelligence on the planet alongside me when I'm 47 is a big fucking deal, like a really big deal. And again, when that comes, our entire model, our entire idea of what success is or not is going to change. And I am patient, infinitely patient. I can wait until I'm 47. I'm gonna have to anyway. So I might as well wait, hopefully. Doing what I thought you were doing, it alone. I'm so confused. Yeah, you're confusing me too. Now we're both confused, Hoopy. Doing, yes, stream will be a legacy. Absolutely. He is all over the news. You know, I'm just trying to be a good friend, and I know you imagine a future without me in it. I'll be the one making the robots and cyber implants. Embezzling? Uh, I'm trying to be a good friend, and I know you imagine a future without me. No, quite the contrary, Hoopty Hoops. Because of your participation in these streams, what I'm imagining for the future is literally the impossibility for me to forget you, right? I will not be able to forget you. Quite the contrary, right? It'll be very clear to me. If there's something I would like to forget, it's just the confusion, right? Because again, when I remember everything in the future, at least everything through this medium, uh, I'll remember that I was very confused a great deal of times, right? When certain things were unclear and set in this space. So, how much I remember is up to you, technically, right? If you keep giving me things that I want to remember, things that I cherish, and guess what? That way is the best way to almost like make a bigger and bigger part of the data set. Same is true for the opposite, right? Some things we avoid. I don't think confusion is enjoyed. I don't particularly enjoy confusion. Because again, it's like, what am I supposed to do with this? Right? I can take this confusion and start hurting myself. Hurts himself in his confusion to the Pokemon players among us. Hurts you in my confusion. That's very possible too. And I think in that matter, it's a great deal of patience. I have to participate and practice, within. Would you commit? No. Because again, if I could double my money every time, uh, I will have all of the money in the world by end of month, right? And as you said, I committed international fraud, which means having all the money in the world plus criming means they'll find me, and then I'll not get to enjoy all of the spoils of my riches. So no, I think easy no-brainer. I think I'm going to want some strong magnets if there are nefarious robots around. Uh, I mean, the strongest magnet is the Earth, technically, that we have access to. Stronger magnet than that would be our entire sun. If the robots come and kill all of us, I don't know if I'll be scared. I might be experientially scared in the moment if I'm getting chased down by the robots. However, ultimately, if I learned, yep, robots are coming for all of us, I'm not going to live in a state of fear in that moment. I'm going to be like, well, it was nice while it lasted. I'm gonna bide my time, eat things that I enjoy eating, I guess. You know, walk amongst the trees, go and look at rocks until the robots find me or whatever. And then when they do find me, then I'll be a little bit scared while I'm running. And then the fear will end. Is this hectic? Might be a little bit hectic. Something patience, right? I am patient enough to see whatever future through. I do believe in quantum immortality. There is some version of me in this infinity that doesn't die. And I am patient enough to see it through. Maybe I'm the one living that life. If not, so not. If so, so do. Zoom, 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 zoom. Nim, 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 nim. Would you participate in group discussion if it meant you could open your mind and go on an internal journey through the cosmos to your real self? I smiled empty. I bought the ticket and took the ride about as deep as one can go. Is that it's I mean, that helps. A divine moment of truth will definitely shake you. Show you that there is more depth to this experience than what you could have conceptualized with your mind. And I believe, at least in my personal experience, having had that divine moment of truth, I gained a lot more patience. In fact, I realized that I'm supposed to be here on the planet, that I can suddenly be somewhere else. I can reintegrate into spirit, into the spirit realm, right? Whenever I want to. It's easy as falling out of a tree. Very easy. Very, very easy. What's hard is being here. I have to keep feeding myself patiently. I have to keep sleeping, keep washing my body, drinking water, keep breathing air. This is effort. This is hard stuff, right? And it will require a lot of patience from your spirit. But I think we're all capable of it. I've seen it in you, friends. It was nice watching the birds with you today. You bet it is. So keep those toesies in line. Love is true. It is time for us to see some flowers, read some poem. There is yesterday's. Aw, my hard eyes. So nice. I really do appreciate you so much, Xiao. This right here is what success feels like. Being loved by the person you love. Having your work appreciated by those whose opinions you care about. Is that AI? Nope. This I make myself. Is it going to be open still? Unfortunately not. I don't have one of me files. But these are not made by AI. Let me show you. I have photos. There we go. This one I can do. So I take a photo of what I'm wearing, and then I turn it into flowers. Blacks, blues, and yellows and pinks. Blacks, blues, and yellows and pinks. All right. So no AI. I do use a piece of software, but every single decision the software makes, it makes by my input. I have to move my fingers. I have to set my intentions and make something out of it. Yeah, I do pride myself in not using AI to make my work. Think, hopefully. Maybe if I'm patient for long enough, that's going to be one of the other things that adds some value to it. Permanent magnets have permanent poles, and electromagnets have alternate poles. Yeah, you can turn them off and on again. It's true. It's true, Darren. I've shown you, friends, the flower one more time. Patreon. I'm sure Patreon is faster for you, friends. There be the flower. And then the poem that went alongside it. The time that's yours. We move mountains for appointments that aren't our own. You bend your hours like warm metal for anyone who says, "Can you meet me then?" And yet, when your own spirit whispers, "I need a moment," you hush it, set it aside, promise yourself you'll get to it later, as if your needs were a hobby instead of a home. But here's the quiet truth. You deserve the same grace you give to every stranger who asks for a sliver of your day. You have earned the right to block off an hour just to breathe, to sit, to remember yourself. Your name belongs on your calendar as boldly as anyone else's. Let your time unfold for you the way it does for the world, without apology, without shrinking, without the tired guilt of thinking you must always give and never claim. You are worth the peace. You are worth the slow morning, the unhurried tea, the moment where nothing happens except you being allowed to exist. And when you finally grant yourself that simple mercy, when you look at your own reflection like someone you must not keep waiting, you rediscover something essential. Your life is not an afterthought. Your time is not a leftover. You deserve to arrive for yourself first. Arriving for yourself first. Being patient enough with yourself, right? To wait for yourself to arrive sometimes. That doesn't make any sense, Mel. Maybe it's not supposed to. Maybe it's not supposed to make sense. Maybe if you spend enough time with it, maybe if you're patient enough, you'll see. I appreciate you, friends, for joining me. I'm gonna go say hi to sister. Thank you for joining me. It was nice having you here with me. It's time for me to say goodbye, so I will. Ta-ta, dear friends. Thank you for joining me today. Till we do it again tomorrow. Goodbye, everybody. Peace, y'all. Peace, Dan. It's nice having you here, friend. I will make such a cool shower tile. Nancy, I still do want to do that. I'll find a company in America. You do live in America, I trust. I'll find a company in America that offers that service to actually print on tiles, and then we'll figure something out. Hope you'll have a wonderful day. Thank you, Zhao. Sending you so much love for your Saturdays, dear friends. Holding you close. Till we do it again tomorrow. See you Sunday.